Hi Italian bro, welcome to the stream bro. Today like I will do let's see if I can get if I will get copyright or not, no? If I will get copyright I will delete this stream.
Nakuha na namin ang pangarap naming lahat. Napatunayan na rin namin ang lakas na Pinas sa M3 at MPN. Hindi na namin nakakayaan ulit yung mga pagkakamali.
Alam na lang na namin nangyari last season. Sabi nila, nag-uubos lang tayo.
Dati, hindi kami pinatatakutan. Kami,
After this week. By the way, you can still bid for Omega and Emma's jersey as the bidding will continue until March 6th. Now for more details, please go to Childhope's Facebook page at facebook.com/childhopeph. Alright, meron din tayong skin giveaway for predicting correctly sa matches for today. So predicting time, mga ML. Go ahead sa comment section below. Predict kung sino mananalo ng ating score. Have a chance to win a free skin. So dapat tama yung score at yung mananalong team. So just comment down below with your prediction. Huwag kalimutan gamitin ng hashtag lakas ng Pinas and be legendary. Again, lakas ng Pinas and be legendary. Alright, kasama natin ngayon dito sa panel. The Bang Bang Report Man! Butters and Lockhart! Ano balita mo sa aming Bang Bang Report?
wala eh. Bang-bang report eh. Ganun talaga eh. Bang-bang lang.
O kailan ba namin napapanood yung Bang Bang
Every
Report?
Thursday ang Bang-bang report. Siyempre, pag-uusapan natin din lahat ng nangyari weekly dito sa MPL.
Ito, Rock Heart. Okay, second day ng ating MPL Week 3. Grabe kasi yung first day natin eh. What are you expecting for today?
I'm expecting a lot of, more action. I think a lot of our teams na nandito ngayon, medyo ngayon lang ulit lalaban on the big stage. Again, I'm still expecting, I'm still watching the turnouts. Nakaiba yung mga nangyayari, yung mga parang winless before, like Omega, they got their own. I mean, definitely one of our teams will have one.
Iba yung pressure eh. Tapos meron pang pinag-uusapan kagabi online na on-site buff now.
Ooh! Now we have three big matchups for today. Silipin natin ang ating current team standings bago tayo magsimula ng ating triple header for today. So things have changed. Let's take a look at our updated standings. Kasi may mga nagbago dun eh. So yung ating top 4 still remains the same. Magkaiba lang ng order. So Echo is still number 1. No losses 4 wins with 11 points. Second place, D and C with 10 points. Beses pa lang sila natalo. RSG natalo kahapon to their 3-1 with 9 points, third place. And XPE, 8 points, fourth place. Onyx at number 5. Blacklist at number 6. Omega got their first win yesterday at 2 points. And Brem also winless, just like Blacklist International. Brem sitting at the last spot. My goodness.
Yeah, that's gonna change later on. Tapos, abangan din natin yung performances mamaya ng Echo again. Nagulat ako nakita ko sila kanina. Ngayon lang sila nakasama ng gano'n. It's a really good feeling. At the same time, if you're an Echo fan, nakakabahan ka. What happened yesterday? Like, what if that also happened to mga teams na parang iba yung performance pag live?
Tapos, meron sinabi si Bonchan dati sa isang post na love gravity down. What comes up must go down. But at the same time, looking at dun sa nangyayari sa content buff, meron din tayo isang saying na naisip ko lang ngayon lang. The only way to go from down or below is up din eh. So, there's certain rules din na pwede mo matapos nila. Depende lang din kung paano mo tignan yung sitwasyon. Right now, use the on-site location or the on-site setting to your advantage.
Nako, it's very interesting because meron actually mga ibang players na aminado medyo kabado sila. First time nila dito. Now sa ating first matchup, it's the battle between two world champion orgs. M3 champs, Blacklist International going up against the M2 champs, Brent Esports. So let's see if Blacklist is finally adjusted sa kanilang lineup and if Brem can make things change with their 10-man roster. Pagkatapos nun, we have our star matchup for the week between the current top squads in the standing, Echo versus RSG. So don't miss out as we'll see if RSG's formula with chemistry can take down Echo. The team of superstars is still undefeated. Now para sa ating final matchup for today, it's one of the OG El Clasico ng ML. NXPE versus Omega. Actually, it's the battle of original battle of
works out for them though because it didn't really work out for them in that previous game, but let's go straight into the portal, Mirko.
It's time to take a look. Let's see if this unique draft once again from Fire can take down the Bulls. The early game is going to be the main focus of attention for the side of Rebellion. Will they be able to utilize it to get the game? That's always been the question, and we will find that question answered here in game number 2.
One of the reasons why I love watching Rebellion Zion is all these crazy picks coming in from high. And this is exactly what is being shown on the screen. It's being reflected in this game. And it's going to be interesting to see what Valentine can actually bring to the table in that jungle position, understanding that there are limitations to this hero, but in the hands of high, I do have high hopes for this hero as well. But look at this, Mirko.
Yeah, already in that bottom side, I will be the one picking up a little longer as will force to flicker away. This is one of the reasons we haven't seen Lunox played a lot in Season 9. She is really weak in the early stages of the game, not just in terms of 1v1 kill pressure, but especially in that wave pressure. Facehugger on the Kagura, Lily has much better as well, Eve as well, and in the mid lane there's going to be a lot of damage placed on towards Val. No mid pressure will mean that Rebellion will be struggling in the early game. Their notorious early game won't be the center of attention here. They have to wait for the win conditions. They need to wait for the power spikes to turn.
Yeah, the reason why I didn't like the Lunox is exactly like how you mentioned. And also when it comes to the composition, with the Ling in the hands of Rebellion Zion, I expected a more early aggression type of approach. But I feel like Lunox in the mid-side is going to weigh them a bit down because it is going to slow down their rotations, understanding that Lunox will not be able to clear the wave as fast as Kagura and kind of deny the rotations that initially were expected from their composition. So now, I don't really understand the winning conditions coming in from Rebellion. Do they want to play the early game? Do they want to play the mid game? Or do they want to play for the late game?
Honestly, if we're looking at Rebellion, they need to just play it reactively up until their power spikes. If they go too aggressive, if they contest neutral objectives, they're simply just going to get demolished. Like, look at this composition from Aura Fire. Valentina, Kufra, Esmeralda Cho, and Kagura. Literally, out of 5 of those heroes, 4 of them wants to go for the snowball. 4 of them are really good in the early game. It's just so hard for Rebellion to contest. In Rebellion's comp, it's just the Utah and Matil. Yeah, which is quite interesting because, as we all know, the playstyle inside of Rebellion is what early game it is like. Tempo in the early game. They want the turtle, they want early rotations. Now with their composition, will they understand that the comp needs time? And if they can execute that, if they can understand that, I feel like sure they have a chance to perhaps win team fights, win objectives, and later on win games. But it is going to be so difficult knowing their styles and early game tempo. Yeah. And one thing is that I want to mention is when we're taking a look at Aurafire's composition, it's not just it's not just the early game that is scary about the team high or in the bottom side looking for a pickup. But yeah, back to my point. The early game is scary from Aurafire, but they're not leading 100% towards it. They still have a very good late game with the Esmeralda pickup with Valentina as well. Rebellion though, complete opposite. He can only play towards that late game, walking now in a 1v3 situation. He gets petrified, but he still has that flicker to get him out of that sticky situation, burning away a lot of resources. And it seems like it is going to be the first turtle uncontested for the side of Aura.
Another thing to highlight when we're talking about compositions is that although I do understand that Esmeralda does peak off later in the later stages of the game, they are lacking that form of DPS because Rebellion Bone. Look at that!
My goodness, beautiful by Kabuki, but on the other side of the map, Dyron goes in for some damage. The turtle will actually be taken away by High, a very good retribution to secure it, but what was that? Rebellion, they played towards the other side, they weren't looking for the fights, but still Kabuki somehow manages to outplay Rebellion.
Kabuki still being the person that he is still very consistent in terms of gameplay. We can see his impact once again here in game number 2, and Aurafire now a bit leading in terms of gold, and of course in terms of rotations.
This is crazy. At this point, it really is really scary because Aurafire, whenever they get that early game snowball, it's just really tough for anyone to get out of it. But let's see Rebellion already looking for the plays on towards the bottom side. Kabuki playing forward, trying to go for the win. Dragon will be able to connect onto Val right now. With Purify connected, it's going to be him taking down Val. Takes the kill, and now it's going to be High jumping back with the ultimate. IMU will be able to connect. Odita goes into the bed, and on the other side, Jisa now looking for the pick up onto face Sarguri, jumps into the Blaze as well. But High will be able to take B-Roll down. It's going to be Swalo all alone. But Jisa comes in for the backup. High now, corner that situation, jumps in for the kill and a triple kill. But Jisa goes in for the shutdown. He picks up the double. That is the triple kill by Nemo. And it's a 4-4 already in the early stage. A huge brawl.
What
What was that?
Insane. The passive from Valentina comes into clutch and picks up triple kill. And there you go. High. Debuting with that Valentina. Now we know why it's bad. Holy. Yeah, I'm gonna speak this as you, Gani. We haven't seen the Valentina, so we don't know how the pro players utilize this pick. Well, now we know why it's banned.
Now we know. It deserves a ban for sure. It deserves that top tier ban because look at the impact on High. Once again, being able to put so much pressure and be able to rotate around the map really fast as well.
Yeah, you can hear the screams.
I mean, man, stop. We're just trying to get out of gang, dude. Why are you screaming at him? Holy.
Aura, though. They're controlling the tempo so well, not just by the gameplay, but with the yells as well. This is the mental game that we all mentioned about Aurafire. This is another dimension to how they've been able to win the games. Kabuki now opening up the map in the top side, though. Petrify gonna be used. Dyron almost gets a cheeky kill on towards Fluffy, but he is still able to use the flicker to get out. Now, Turtle number 2 up for the contest. Rebellion and Aurafire both looking for this, but Gariva won't do anything here so far. Just zoning them away, using the stickers, emotes, and now High actually, with the Black Dragon front, might be able to force something. Yeah, there you go. Black Dragon front gonna be popped by High. Let's see if he does go for the dive. It seems like it is way too risky. He is gonna fall back towards the turtle. And it seems like Rebellion don't have the resources to contest. I might be wrong. Jisa on to the walls already with Bench Boys, trying to open up the map for his team. He actually goes in towards the mid lane to clear the waves, and both teams reset.
yeah, buying a lot of time for their team right now. We can see that Jisa on this link is going to have a really huge factor in terms of split push, and that's and that's exactly how exactly how Rebellion Zion
Mm.
likes Zion to likes to play, play, right? They
Mm.
love right? to They go love for to the go for split the push. split They push. like They to like to manipulate the manipulate the waves, waves, and and because because Jisa is Jisa is using Ling, using Ling, we can we can definitely definitely see that see type that of type of situation situation happening, happening, denying denying the the neutral neutral objectives objectives even even from. from.
Oh
I was
my!
just about to say, but that was a turtle stolen miracle.
Nasty plays. Godiva gets
gets
out as
out
well.
as well.
Oh my god,
God,
that's
that's
gonna
gonna
be
be
the
the
engage
engage
coming in
coming in
again.
again.
B-roll
B-roll
gets
gets
chunked low.
chunked low.
Jisa now with
Jisa
the
now
rest
with
of
the
the
rest
able
of
to
the
pop
able
it
to pop
away,
it
but
away, but
Fluffy
Fluffy
gets a
gets a
flank with
flank
the
with the
falling
falling
Samurai
Samurai.
jumps in.
Jumps in.
A
A
double
double
kill
kill
for
for
Esmeralda,
Esmeralda.
and
And
that
that
is
is
a
a
3
3
for
for
0.
0.
They
They
steal
steal
the
the
turtle,
turtle.
they
They
steal the
steal the
team
team
fight,
fight.
and
And
they
they
are
are
roaring
roaring
right
right
now.
now.
My God, you can hear them scream on stage. This is huge, guys. This is so different to game number one, where Aura was really behind, but now Rebellion Zion is actually in the back foot. And it is already 6 minutes in. The amount of neutral objectives that they have taken, the amount of towers that they have taken, or a fire, they know how to close the match, right? So it's going to be very scary for Rebellion Zion, and somehow they need to be able to weather the storm.
Oh
Oh
man,
man,
it's just so scary. Godiva goes in, he's so on point with these time revenges. Even though he wasn't able to get the kill on Suelo, that's a huge resource burn high now. He's in the back dragon form, jumping all the way to the backside. Jiren goes in as well with a furious dive, able to connect onto Godiva, but that's not a prior target. Jisa now jumping onto facehugger, not able to connect, and the damage coming from high is just way too much. Godiva with the re-engage will be able to find Suelo in the sight. Jiren looking for the trade, goes in, picks up Godiva with a furious dive as well, will be able to disengage. High jumps in, he gets terrified, and Kabuki with the flanks controlled chaos from Aura here in game number 2. Val is next on the chopping block, he gets terrified, but Aura is ferocious. High goes in, and that's going to be the follow-up instantly. Val pops in the Purify, unable to get out. Facehugger jukes him away, it's going to be the place going to be popped, but Jisa picks the kill. High looking for more damage on the board. What the heck is going on? Again, Aura and Aura, this is controlled aggression. This is controlled chaos.
The idea that they are so chaotic actually works for them just because of the chemistry and the synergy that they have. You notice that if one person goes in really heavily, we could automatically assume, okay, he's gonna get picked off. But the follow-up coming in from Aura Fire is definitely there. Fluffy goes in and is able to disable and follow up the movement coming in from Godiva, and Hai just comes in and starts to execute the members coming from Zion like one by one. And now with the space, with the power that they have, Aura Fire with a 5,000 gold lead will already also be able to take this turtle easy.
Yeah, I mean, chemistry and trust comes in huge here for out of Aura Fire now. With their control even, they look for an invade here, and Rebellion. They have zero answer. Their composition is not within their playstyle. Now they just lost Aura Fire. At this point, they are just having fun with High, leading their team here on this Valentina. Holy Crystal is already secured. Plus, he also respects the damage for Rebellion building that Force Breastplate here. So adding movement speed and as well as respecting the potential damage, physical and both magical with that Force Breastplate built.
When we see Rebellion Zion, we usually also focus on Suelo, right? But because Suelo was forced into this Lunox pick, it hasn't had the same impact as it had usually when they play, and it's starting to show. The fact that he's unable to deal out the damage unless in a 3v or 4v1 situation is definitely evident, and it's kind of sad to see as of right now.
Yeah, they can only really go for these trades, these pick-offs on the other side of the map, isolate the other members, because if they go for a full-on teamfight Aura, they have 5,000 gold in their pocket, 5,000 more gold in their pocket. It's really tough right now for the side of Rebellion, but on the bottom side, it's going to be a 1v1, both junglers. Jisa gets away. Sinopolis, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, watch this on the big screen. Come on, man. Just watching the big screen. It's going to be crazy matches. This is the first match of the day. We still have Bigatron versus Ultrigo. We still have the El Clasico. So go ahead, buy some tickets. Also, get the Sanrio character skins because it's really cool.
Cool and cute.
You know what else is cool and cute? Good food. Especially at half the price. Go ahead and order snacks right now. Come grab food. Or grab Mark. Use the promo code MLBB to get your food. High is munching on the purple buff right now. And honestly, it feels like he's smurfing. 6'1" and 4. This guy, he's I don't know why. I don't know how to, I don't have any words. I'm just speechless.
I guess one of the thing about what Aura Fires brings to the table is that this is definitely a surprise factor, and one of the ways to counter. Oh, but wait a minute. Something might be brewing here, Mirko.
Yeah, I has actually stolen the Tempest of Blades, but I am going to be jumping back in front with the Tyrant's Revenge and the Tyrant's Rage. High now, they pop, Turnip going to be popped, and that's behind. Using the Tempest Blades as well. Furious Dive going to be able to be used, but not connected just yet. Look at Kabuki. Put your sights on towards Kabuki. One good pickoff can cancel out this Lord and Brim's order. Actually popped in the front side. Kabuki now looking to pick on Swaylo. He gets the D2. No, what the heck? What?
The damage.
He one-shot Swaylo. What the heck was that?
Yeah, the damage is definitely huge. They're being able to one-shot is there as well. And the thing is that I was about to mention even further is that I might be caught in a bad situation here, Mirko.
No, it's completely fine.
Okay.
I was like, well, but he can't first. I really hope he can't first. Because if he can, it's over.
It's broken, bro. It's a broken game here. Now, the thing is, with the surprise factor of the Valentina in the composition of Aura Fire, unfortunately, Rebellion Zion doesn't have the CC to counter the movements coming in from Valentina. And therefore, High is at liberty to dive in and dive out as he pleases. The only reliable CC that Rebellion Zion has is definitely, I guess, the spell coming in from Jiren, as well as the Tempest of Blades coming in from Jisa, but that isn't too reliable. But wait a minute, Mirko.
Yeah, there's going to be engaged right now. High has taken the Black Dragon form. It's going to be them controlling this side of the map. High now jumping in forward, but that's going to be a big mistake as he's going to get bursted down, forced to pop the Black Dragon form defensively. Jiren now looking for the same thing. The two dragons collide. Oh my god, that looked like something you would see in a movie. Sinopolis, by the way.
100%. This has got to be one of the most entertaining matches to watch. But what?
Alright.
What? B-roll just gets one shot by Kabuki. Kabuki is secretly the assassin.
I'm sorry, my boys. This is Aura Fire's world. We're just living in it. And now it's going to be Rebellion jumping on towards Fluffy. He's going to get chain CC'd with a Furious Dive, and the Petrify actually going to be hold on to. Val running away right now with the Circle Eagle connected. It's going to be him taken down. Kabuki now going in for the Jiku. No, will be able to just one-shot Swaylo with the help of his team. Jiren now in the midst of it all in a 1v3. Goes for the Petrify combo. Will he be able to survive? The question will be answered. It's a big no-no. A 3-0. But Jisa does get a trade into the mid lane. Bureau now with a clear. Going in for that ultimate, will be able to clear it out, but man, Aura, I don't know whether it's Rebellion making the mistakes, not committing fully onto Fluffy, or just Fluffy playing it perfectly, flickering when it matters most, and punishing them again.
My god.
Kabuki just... we're living, I'm convinced we're living in Aura Fire's world. 8,000 gold lead, Kabuki styling on every member in 13 minutes.
If we thought Kabuki was great on the Beatrix, we stand corrected with this next Cho pick. Kabuki is actually performing spectacularly, being able to take members from Rebellion Zion one-on-one, being able to take on the important members as well. It's like, you know, before Rebellion Zion was using Cho, correct?
I don't know, man. They've broken my brain. It's time to take a look at the instant replay here, presented to you by the Samsung Galaxy A series. Gani, what happened?
Yeah, Fluffy just spitted all their resource from inside Rebellion. Wait a minute.
Yeah, Val is gonna get completely taken down. A monster kill pickup for the side of Aura Fire. At this point, it feels like taking a lollipop from little kids. Aura Fire making it look easy against Rebellion. Jisan now going for the engagement. Facehugger is able to juke him out with the help of Godiva. He gets out, he gets the purple buff. But again, they're losing all fronts right now. High jumping in, zoning Jiren. And Swaylo will not be able to get out of that one, even when Aura are caught off guard. They still managed to win out the fights. A 2-0, a 10,000 gold lead in the making for Aura. They're pushing inside the base. Godiva jumping in with the Titan's Revenge, not able to connect onto anybody right now. Bureau still doing a good job kiting them, but High pops the Black Dragon form, zoning away all the other members. Jiren jumping with the Furious Dive, but instantly Flicker will be the response from Fluffy. They're looking to siege down the base right now with Val jumping with the Furious Dive. It's going to be a lot of damage placed once again, zoning away the members from the turrets with the Enhanced Lord in 15 minutes. It feels like like they want to look for the end. Rebellion still holding strong, but High now caught in the midst of it all. It's going to be Godiva taken down. Fluffy now jumping as well on the following side. We're going to be able to get taken down. Jisa picks up a double kill. The base will be targeted, but still is going to be defendable as Rebellion somehow managing to survive in the game. A 10,000 gold lead though for the Dragons.
Man, but Aura Fire, they went in a 3v5 situation. So when it comes down to it, okay, it would be great if you can actually win that out. But if not, it just seems like overcommitment and overconfidence coming in from Aura Fire at this stage. I do understand they are sitting at a 10,000 gold lead, but you can't discount the amount of damage that Suelo can have now that she has started to form all her items. But if we take a look at the Samsung real-time win probability, it is going to still be favoring Aura Fire as we're going to take a look at the items.
Yeah. If we take a look at the items here, Fluffy already built that Dominance Ice and as well as Oracle. So that anti-regen and as well as HP regen for himself is just huge. Taking and as well as dealing damage. And take a look at Facehugger, man, already. Genius 1 completed, Clock of Destiny, and Lightning Truncheon as well. So I feel like Facehugger with that 10 assists, a huge impact, and Biro cannot just you know, show across the map freely because of this Kagura.
I'm still just so speechless. Again, I don't know what's happening in this game. It's controlled chaos. Look at the player's gold presented to you by Live and by Mandiri. On the marksman, on the fighters, on the assassins, it's always just Kabuki.
Kabuki and Fluffy.
Yeah. How does Fluffy get in there? He's an XP laner.
As always, bro. If we can say Kabuki is consistent, he's consistent. But Fluffy is also super consistent, always being relevant, always being at the top of the boards in terms of gold, in terms of damage taken. You know, take all the categories. Fluffy has it all.
With so much CC from Aura Fire, look at Biro. He actually had to go Purify on a marksman. And now, again, Fluffy just doing his thing. Once again, fading for members to come in towards that and going. He actually goes in for a re-engage now. High jumping in as well. That's going to be a lot of damage placed. Dyron gets taken down. A 2v4 at this point. Kabuki, we don't need you. It's just, oh my god, High and Fluffy. They managed to sustain. They managed to beat the members. And it's just a cleanup for Kabuki at this point. Tempest of Blaze is going to be popping now. Jisa using the Tempest of Blaze, running away, but he's going to get kicked on to the umbrella. He gets taken down. On the other side go Diva and Fluffy in a 2v2 against Val and Suelo. It seems like it is inevitable. Val gets bursted down. Kabuki gets his legendary. Suelo jumping into the Chaos Order, still able to deal some damage on towards Fluffy, but it won't be enough. Go Diva goes in for the last ditch engage, a wipe out from the Dragons, and this is a dominant display from Aura Fire. We thought you were strong in week 1, week 2, week 3 is meant for this team.
You know, there's nothing left to say about Aura Fire other than
what the heck?
that
Former world champs, Blacklist International, and Bren Esports sa aming pagbabalik. So keep it locked in. Magbabalik ang
somewhat close is Beatrix versus Lilia, but obviously a mage is gonna have way more poke in the mid lane. So if you don't get that early game map control in any lane, you kind of set yourself up for failure a little bit.
I do feel so, and I do agree with you in every aspect here. Unfortunately, I do wish that Minimon, instead of having to use Renner most of the time, actually utilizes Bennett to help clear that wave real fast, and maybe have Nibiru as a way to kind of harass your opponents rather than Renner, because it just doesn't make any sense that you want to give that control over to a team like MLBB Esports, who utilized it well. And to give Orange Esports credit, they were able to look for those big counter engagements and read MLBB Esports and how they wanted to play. It just wasn't enough.
Yep, having a look here at the end game statistics, the item builds from both sides. I don't think there's much that needs to be commented on because the item builds are pretty default coming out from most of these
Hello, Abra,
players.
bro. Hello, bro.
The game ended 15 minutes in.
I'm just
Obviously,
like,
MLB Esports
I'm just
came out
doing,
on
no,
top,
that
and in terms
MPL,
of
no.
their individual net worths, you can tell that they
I'm
were
just watching
having
MPL,
a
bro.
much better time compared to ours.
If I get copyright, I will delete this.
Especially when it comes down to the goal,
Delete this video, no?
everybody's just so rich from the side of MLB.
Hope I will not get copyright.
The score being 14-5, 14 minutes in the game, a kill every single minute.
के
Orange
लोगी
Esports,
के
they have to go back to
हाँ
drawing
ये
board.
देखेगा
Yeah,
हम
and
ये
now I
एमपीएल
feel
को
like I
मतलब
have
लाइव
to be a
स्ट्रीम
little
करके
bit
देख रहा है ना
hypercritical here on
मोबाइल
Zeno.
लेजेंड वो
They locked down his
प्रीमियर
Yuzong,
लीग को
they
टूर्नामेंट
locked
को
down his Uranus. His Lapu Lapu performance was, I don't feel like he did anything that game. I have to question, can Zeno only play the Yuzong somewhat well?
Well, I definitely think they should have given him something like Paquito at the very least. He can look for picks off of X/, potentially buy a little bit of time for the team. Because when you have Lapu Lapu and there's a Matilda on the enemy team, landing the stun is so difficult unless you have a lead and you can force your opponents to make the first move. That's your only option. If not, the mobility and just the escape tools that MLBB Esports have inbuilt in their champion pool so far is just ridiculous. Like, Matilda, for an example. All right, am I going to catch her? Probably not. I have to wait for her to use the guiding winds. If I'm looking at someone like Uranus, Consecration, and has Purifier on top of it all, and if you think ZachQT is going to get caught, Black Shoes, and as well as Purify, it's time for the MVP. You know it's from MLBB. It's going over to Olive.
Yep, with a 7-0-6 match KDA on the Ollis and a 93% match kill participation. Again, 93% kill participation on a farming jungler. My goodness, MLBB Esports, we already said this was a team that liked to roam together, liked to fight a lot, but this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it really is. He was absolutely just having his way with the jungle. No one was really stopping him, and he was getting very, very aggressive. Like in the earlier levels, level 4, level 6, he was in the river trying to contest for some of these objectives.
Yeah, it's just really good play from MLBB Esports overall. Again, this is like one of the newer teams in MPL, but you can see that there's some growth. You can see that, this team, they have potential. They're playing together very well, and all of their players, while maybe not quite to the level as some of the veterans of MPL, seem to have the capability to achieve that sort of gameplay.
Well, let's look at the highlights here to experience it all over again as MLBB made sure that they completely shut down these big plays coming out from Orange Esports, and there's nothing much that can really be said. I mean, Orange Esports in the earlier stages of the game did make some interesting and also very good plays down by the gold lane, but at the end of the day, it's not enough of a deficit to bring Isonic back in time. And by the end of the game, Isonic did have 4 items, but he clearly did not have enough stacks.
Well, there is a reason why you don't see Alice played very much anymore, and we can see in a lot of these fights, Orange Esports, they engage in, they use all of their abilities, they end up hitting no one, and then they get turned around on. Even in fights where they were able to land some pretty good skills, MLBB Esports were able to split the fight up. I think there was a very good job done by Ren here to just take a lot of the damage, distract a lot of the DPS from Orange Esports, and once the cooldowns were down, MLBB Esports just walks over him.
Yeah, and boy, just mechanical mistakes after mechanical mistakes coming out from Orange Esports that really cost them the game. I mean, the draft was already not looking good, but making mechanical mistakes on top of it all really didn't help at this point. The only hope at this point is to play for game number 2, maybe bring it back, and hopefully even out the score. Maybe steal the series away during game 3.
Orange Esports को क्या हो गया ना? क्यों इतना हार रहा है?
As hard as it is to say something like this, I feel like Orange Esports as a team overall are not prepared to stand on the MPL stage. It's harsh. But it is a reality check. You cannot go head-to-head against some of these teams if you are not ready for it. And I don't sense that coming out from the players of Orange. If they're all depending on Min and Man setting things up for them, you're never going to win a 2v5 matchup.
Well, I think 2 things do come into mind. Number 1 is when it comes down to the draft. It's really interesting, but it's also like very punishing for these side laners, right? I don't know whether it's hero pool or whether someone is making the call saying, hey, these heroes are good. If we're talking about these heroes are good, it's wrong. It's complete. It's not correct. If we're talking about hero pools, at least that's something that they can work on.
Yeah, I'm suspecting that there's a bit of a hero pool problem from Orange Esports. A lot of their core players don't seem to be very flexible. We can see that Min and Man, they're perfectly fine. They have a fair amount of heroes they can play pretty solidly. But the rest, I'm not really feeling it. Like, even if they can play multiple heroes, they don't seem to do it well. And I am a little bit worried for Orange Esports. I get the feeling once the transfer window comes about, we're going to be seeing a big reshuffling in this team lineup. Unless they can prove themselves in this next game.
I absolutely agree. I'm just surprised. I'm really surprised. But if you guys want to be able to celebrate these games alongside with us, make sure you go and check out the discounts code provided to you by Nescafe. Buy some of their products here at a discount and some of your favorite flavors, and stay awake throughout the games, and most importantly, check out the lucky draw winners at the end of today.
Yep, if you guys, again, are enjoying MPL, make sure to show our sponsors some love, grab some products, and why not? After all, it's some nice drinks, some beverages, some whatever you need to enjoy MPL. And I hope you guys are, because there have been some very intense games so far.
Yep, more to come here. And hopefully we see a step up coming in from Orange Esports. I'm surprised because we've seen iSonic play before. I'm not sure why they didn't even consider giving him Natan in that matchup. Why not, if they really needed magical damage at that point. Natan is a pretty good substitute, and at the very least can actually get out of tough situations with his ultimate in the entropy. Yes, Natan may not necessarily be as good as he used to before, but if you're going to give a losing matchup, you might as well give a losing matchup where he can actually play the game.
And not even Natan, we know iSonic is pretty comfortable with Kimmy as well, which is a hero that can actually perform pretty okay in the early game, depending on matchup. So I'm finding Orange Esports' drafts overall really weird, but having a look at the previous match recap, the amount of damage done between these two teams is just worlds apart.
Yeah, it's different, and that's really tough to say, because MAB, I wouldn't even say that the most polished team. They have a very distinct style of play, and that is definitely punishable. I'm not sure how OE is going to be looking to kind of counteract that, but it's definitely building up the confidence for MAB.
Yeah, I think going into game number 2, what Orange Esports needs to focus on is just play heroes that you're comfortable with. It's time to stop trying to outthink the opponent, outdraft the opponent, because it doesn't seem like they're capable of doing that with their limited hero pools. Just play the best heroes you can and hope that will be enough to carry you with the victory.
I'm guessing that the Franco is probably going to be coming out from the side of MAB, and is there anything else? Probably maybe a take on Sicilian. It's tough to say. It really is tough. There might not necessarily be an answer, but yes, as you mentioned, the best way possible. And especially for a lot of teams out there, when you go comfortable, build that confidence back up and bring it back in game 3.
The problem is it's gonna be quite difficult to do so, because MAB Esports, they seem to recognize already what the weakness of Orange Esports is. It's the draft, it's the hero pool. You see how they banned out the users early on.
ये इसमें copyright मिलने से हम बाद में delete कर देगा तो.
And then they force the rest of the team into very unusual picks. So even if Orange Esports wants to play more comfortable hero lineups, I'm not sure if MAB Esports are going to let them do it.
Well, with 5 seconds on the clock, let's get in towards the draft here and see what is the adaptations from Orange Esports. We know that Orange Esports is able to steal games away from their opponents in best of 3, and this is what we're expecting to see on the blue side for Orange Esports.
Yeah, with the teams now swapping sides for their draft, we can see Orange Esports, interestingly enough, have elected to be the ones banning out the Lancelot and the Fanny themselves, in addition to the Eve. MAB gonna be banning out Xeno's Yuzong once again, as well as the Selena and the Valentina.
Skin, lol, Sanjay Rai, bro. Welcome to the stream, bro.
Taken away from
Please like and subscribe, bro.
Which most likely means that he's going to play Sicilian. So Matilda, Beatrix, easy pickups for the side of MAB. That's totally fine, and most importantly, X-Lash, very happy to have the Beatrix.
Yep, this is a very comfortable starter for MAB.
Bro, later I can.
I think. Lilia. First, this hero is really starting to become a contested pick for many teams in the MPL because of the sheer amount of damage, as well as the inbuilt escape that she has access to. But there are also ways to counteract that. One hero, for example, is the Kadita, which we've seen teams do to just one-shot the Lilia before Black Shoes can even be activated.
I think that's a very good option for ZachQT if he's capable of playing it. But knowing that he likes to play with the team, he doesn't like to looking for the big play at the end of the day. Ooh, Brody and Blue getting picked up for the side of Orange Esports.
I think Blue is a pretty safe pick for Orange, a good defensive hero with offensive options. Going for the Brody at this point feels a little bit strange to me, though, because this is a bit more of a skill-based matchup when you compare to the Beatrix. Both heroes can do quite a lot of damage to each other. I would have thought they'd go for a safer option like the Clint or the Popol and Koopa, considering both heroes are still open.
I would make an argument that Popo and Koopa is extremely mechanical, especially once you get into the later stages of the game. Brody is a lot simpler and still extremely effective at his job. But I'm also guessing that OE is expecting MAB to play an assassin like Hayabusa, for an example, and they're going to limit it here in the second half of the draft. Get rid of the Aulus, most likely get rid of the Ling.
The Ling. I guess that would make sense. But it's a bit difficult to think about it because, yeah, as you mentioned, the Hayabusa is still open as well. Instead, they're gonna go for the ban on the Yi Sun Shin. So I assume they're gonna leave both assassins open so that they can grab whichever one MAB decides not to go for.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay for that for sure. Franklin as well as Cho getting banned out for the side of MAB, but that's the least of Orange Esports is concerned. Cho is still available. Khalid is picked up way too early here. I think it's doable, especially when he's up against the Glue matchup, but I think, you know, Glue still has a lot of options against it, so I'm generally alright. But I definitely think they could have gone with their jungle early first, because it really doesn't matter whether it's Ling or Hayabusa at this point.
It's also questionable to go for Khalid at this point, because we can't say for certain that this Glue is gonna go into the EXP lane. There's still the possibility that Min might be able to take a page out of Mom's book and go for the Roamer Glue as well.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
MAB Esports picking up this Khalid this early on does allow options for Orange Esports to counter it, and that does seem to be what has happened with... Actually, no. The Khalid wins against Esmeralda. This is a bit strange.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought they would go for something like Uranus, but I guess they wanted to make sure they had a little bit more damage, and more importantly so, the Esmeralda, I think, is a little bit better. Sacrifice the lane a little bit more, play for the later half of the game, because at least you can steal away shields from Kagura, and whoever takes the guiding wins on top of Matilda.
Yeah, I guess that's fair, but again, does make it so that Orange Esports does require a little bit of scaling, and we know that the early game can be a little bit inconsistent, so they are hedging their bets a little bit, but I suppose you do gotta take some risks if you want to come back from a deficit. The final hero for MAB Esports, what's it gonna be? The jungler is the one missing, and it looks like it's just going to be the classic Hayabusa.
Kind of interesting. I would have liked to see the Ling from Aleph once again show off his signature heroes, but again, Hayabusa is just generally a safe pick. You can't really go wrong with him. I think it's fine. Overall, the draft is a lot better for Orange Esports this time around on blue side. And a lot of these options were this is going to play out, and I think Orange Esports might be able to steal this game against MAB now.
Yep, I think the drafts now are looking a lot more balanced, so Orange Esports does legitimately have a chance of getting this game, evening it up, and bringing it to a game number 3. But it's gonna come down to whether or not they can execute it efficiently against the aggression and team fight-oriented gameplay of MAB. Orange Esports going to have a pretty strong early game with the Glue Roamer as well as Brody to solidify the gold lane. But MAB, their team fight is going to be pretty scary, and they have pretty solid scaling with the Kagura and the Beatrix as well. Will MAB end Orange Esports' hopes of securing a victory here, or will Orange prove that they do have what it takes to stand on the MPL stage?
And immediately we're getting a quick game pause. Looks like technical issues have occurred once again. Hopefully it's nothing too game-breaking, so they don't have to restart the draft. That would be horrendous.
Okay, before the game paused there, I did have a look at the players' emblems, and there was one thing that stood out as being very weird to me, and that Lola, playing on the Garena, had a Demon Slayer emblem. And while this emblem on the MPL stage isn't unusual, it is kind of weird to see it on Garena, because I feel like this is a hero that doesn't want to farm quick, but rather go for kills.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. If Karina is taking something like Mage Slayer, it does give us an idea that it's going to be a tank Karina. Most likely, she wants to be able to get ahead in terms of farm in comparison to Hayabusa, and she is expected to beat Hayabusa very early on, maybe even push him out of the jungle, considering how aggressive their lineup can potentially be. But it has to be on the correct side of the map, because remember, Khalid will always have priority. Beatrix might not necessarily have that priority, so it's going to depend on where Nova is going to be on that Matilda. And if he's hovering around the goal... gold lane, well, they know how to pick and choose their fights.
I guess that is true.
मुझे
So we'll see whether or not this
पासीघाट में
works
होता
out for
होगा
RNG Sports here, as now the pause has concluded and we return to the land of dawn. RNG Sports playing on the blue side.
WhatsApp
currently
number
one
नहीं है
game
क्या उसका
down against MAB.
Brody is in the mid lane. iSonic is playing Lilia down on bot side.
Okay,
हम
actually,
live stream
that's
कर रहे हैं
not
ना
a bad idea
हाँ रुको हाँ
because
देगा रुको
Lilia can
wanna
definitely
bet
poke down Beatrix
are you
fairly
college student
comfortably,
yeah bro
so that
I'm
will allow
no
them to have a
I
little
passed
more
from college
priority
no
in the
bro
gold lane.
Yeah, I mean, you don't
hmm
don't even have to interact one off and running as soon as possible to at least have control over this lane. Now, he's probably going to go 50-50. Min's going to take a lot of damage here, but it really doesn't matter. It's glue. He can recall, come back into the lane, and then start hovering around top side.
Yep, but it also means that they can ensure that the enemy roamer... Oh, okay. Yeah, but that ensures that the enemy roamer isn't going to be on the map for a little while, allowing them to make plays like this. Olive jumping onto Zeno, not really going to get the kill, but it allows Ren to put a little more pressure onto Esmeralda.
One more wave until Ren hits level 4. Olive gets the River Crab for himself, and that's where we see Min actually being able to make it here. But this is going to be a really important fight for either side.
Yeah, Min jumps ahead, doesn't realize that Ren is there, takes quite a lot of damage from Desert Tornado, but Ardent has actually thrown MAB off just a little bit. However, Raging Sandstorm onto Mon in the back line, they do get it! Looks like Olive gonna secure the turtle. Ren dropping real low, Lola's right on top of him, but the rest of the team is just pelting them with damage from the back line, and the first blood gonna be on top of Lola. MAB Esports secures the very first kill of the game. Olive jumping in with the Ogi Shadow kill, he still has it after all this time, saving it until the very end to secure 2 kills.
Huge play coming in from MAB Esports, and unfortunately for iSonic, he could not be part of that play. Man, they really need to start making some cleaner decisions, and you can see that it's very lucky of MAB that Orange Esports committed to that fight a lot longer than they should, because if Orange made a cleaner decision on what to do on bot side and send iSonic top, that would have been horrendous for MAB Esports.
Yeah, that was a little bit of overconfidence from Orange and not enough thought put into whether or not they could truly contest that. Meanwhile, Ren gonna do a lot of damage to Zeno here, but I don't think he has his cooldowns up, so the Esmeralda will be able to walk away. But that does mean that EXP lane priority is very comfortably in favor of MAB.
Yeah, if Ren lands another ult, he is going to 100% kill Zeno here. Zeno's not going to get it up for another 20 seconds. His Purify, as a matter of fact, is another 20 seconds. So Ren has a very short period of time to actually punish, but he just needs the damage, and he also has Execute. So keep that in mind. Solo kill potential very, very high, as ZachQT almost successfully... Oh man, X/, he got out, he switched on over Zero, but doesn't matter. Nova finds the kill regardless, and now Karina is taking the full damage to the Oki Shadow kill. Lola can't do anything about this, but Olive knows he doesn't have enough damage to keep chasing her all the way through.
Yep, a 4-man rotation down by MAB Esports, proving very successful in getting a kill. They should be able to finish off this tower as well. Orange actually tried to make a similar rotation up top with the Esmeralda and the Brody, but they weren't able to get a kill onto Ren, which meant that their rotation was a lot less successful.
Punish, as a matter of fact, and the proxy has begun from both EXP laners, because Turtle is the next contestant.
Yep, Turtle already up. Min still trying to buy time, taking some damage from the poke, but he is still all right. Nova still providing scouting over the enemy roamer. Meanwhile, Alif already in position to see if he can get a sneaky kill from behind to start securing this objective.
Yep, they're going to start on it quick as Esmeralda runs back up to try and catch the next wave. Khalid is going to match her and push her away from the jungle as the rest of MAB sits on top of Turtle.
Yep, they've already started working on it. It's dropping real low. Alif does have retribution as Nova buys time in the backline. They secure it. Now Lola dropping real low. Min as well as Alif jumps on top of the enemy Garena. And Ibiri's passion gonna be dropped out, but it's not even necessary. They get the kill onto Lola. The rest of RNG Squad's going to be forced to retreat, dropping real low in HP, but only one kill going over to MAB.
Looks like, you know, Orange Esports is a little disorientated on how to actually take that fight. Mon gets zoned out single-handedly by Nova for some reason, with no backup whatsoever to actually push Nova back. Nova is getting away with a lot of mistakes that's just working out for him.
Yeah, that was a really deep dive by the Matilda, and Orange just weren't able to punish it because they were torn between wanting to secure the turtle and wanting to take the fight. And in the end, if you're too greedy, you end up not taking anything. I feel like Orange needed to accept that they're not going to be able to win that. Back off, see if they can get a kill onto the divers from the enemy team.
Oh, is Ren gonna join the dive? Oh, I really wish Ren went in for it. That would have been a beautiful play if he was able to connect or force out a flicker at the very least. But they opt to go with the safer play. Don't need to dive unnecessarily. They already have an advantage here down on the mid lane. Lola's trying to get on out. Unfortunately, he is going to get bursted down.
Orange Esports को कहाँ धुलाई दे रहे?
MAB Esports are just straight up disrespecting Orange now. Nova just playing behind the tier 1 as a support, getting a kill under the enemy jungle, and the rest of Orange is nowhere near enough to be able to protect him. They're just bullying Lola this game.
Yep, Nova, he's playing hyper dangerously, really disrespectful. Oh my goodness, Min took it. He took it, and now he an actual potential kill. Zeno finally finds it. Nova goes all the way around to get a mega kill on towards their Brody, the next to fall. Finally, he dies. Nova X Kobar finally takes a death.
Logically speaking, that would have been a bit too risky of a play to expect Min to go for, but I think MAB Esports, that's exactly what they were thinking, because they were caught off guard when the glue jumped onto them in the back line, grouped them all up, and allowed RNG Esports to start doing some massive AoE damage. That is the swing they're looking for. Their first 3 kills of the game. They're still behind in terms of net worth, but that's a lifeline that RNG Esports desperately needs.
Yeah, MLB has got to be careful about overheating it, because at this point they're getting really disrespectful with the plays that they're making, that they're naturally making some strong fundamental mistakes, and they've gotten away for it for a little too long. Finally, Orange Esports does punish them, and it's all thanks to the help and setup from Mid.
Yep, again, the Minman twins going to be the saving grace of Orange Esports, but that's not going to be enough. The rest of their players need to step up to the plate. Having a look at their farm, their items, Lola has about the same net worth as Nova, and that is really terrible for a jungler, especially one with Demon Slayer.
Oh, that's rough, but at least he's keeping up with EXP, and that's the most important thing here, because Lola isn't too item dependent after he's gotten his first. The rest are just situational and just to make him tankier. And at this point in time, I mean, MLB Esports can basically dictate the pace of the game as 3 members of Orange Esports down on the bottom side, and Olive basically allowed to go nuts whenever he wants to. But look at top, as you can see, X-Slash, with the help of Red, continue to break down these free objectives.
MLB Esports just has free reign of
क्या
the map.
करने में
Orange
कुछ नहीं है
don't know
तो
where they want to play around, and when they rotate somewhere to do something, MAB are already on the opposite side. But hold on, they managed to get a catch onto X-Slash. Min dropping real low, but gets the they get
Okay,
another
epic
kill.
comeback.
Lola just outside the Kagura. Olive
Orange
gonna be
Esports
jumping in to
epic
do some
comeback होगा.
damage as the Raging Sandstorm comes in, but doesn't land on anyone. Ren now gonna be the one caught out of position, not able to finish off Lola. That's gonna be a 3-for-0 trade.
What am I watching here? What am I watching? MLB Esports, like, from playing hyper overconfident to just making some strong fundamental mistakes. Like, what in the world is X-Slash doing there when he was walking through the mid lane, thinking that he's not going to get punished here? And it just so happens that Orange Esports were going to make a move. He knew exactly where they were. Aleph is feeding them information. They lost the tier 1 for it at the same time, and multiple no, don't tell me
अच्छा
about
views
that. He
मिलता है
dies.
तो.
No way!
Olive making the play right back here. That previous engagement was a huge mistake by MLB Esports. A classic case of overconfidence. But Olive showing that he still has what it takes. The Ogi Shadow Kill gets a nice one and still continues dancing around. Min has already used the split, so they know that important cooldown is gone.
Yep, and now they're getting on top of Xeno so far, but Xeno is starting to get to a point where he's starting to scale very nicely against Ren, and Ren is losing a lot of his value. Technically, he's hovering around for his ultimate. If they get Lord right now, MAB need to make this count.
Yep, Ogi Shadow Kill gonna be dropped down again, but they all group up, so that's not gonna result in a kill for Olive. He does bring Xeno pretty low, but that is the end of Esmeralda, so she should be able to bring herself back up. Looks like MAB are gonna decide not to go for this Lord.
Good idea, good idea. They don't have any value of it as of right now because they can still siege Orange Esports under their turrets with or without the Lord. So at this point, they're just using it as a way to buy time for themselves and force Orange Esports to split up their forces.
Yep, I think it's a pretty good plan from MAB as long as they can get some farm onto Olive. Split being popped by Min. Ren gonna get out thanks to the guiding wind. So again, a wasted ultimate by Orange Esports. Olive gonna start rotating over.
Re-engage for the fight. Re-engage for the fight. Min is just standing there. He walks out for free, and now they're gonna start Lord once again. Somebody has to clear top side. Esmeralda's down bot. They have plenty of time to do this, and maybe catch Orange Esports off of the rotation, but as you can see, Nova, full vision of it, knows exactly what's going on. Yin Yang overturn getting on top of 2. Xeno tries to get into the middle, he gets hit by the Raging Sandstorm, dies instantaneously. Lola is the next to fall. X-Slash having the time of his life. They trade 1 for 3.
Yep, that's what MAB are looking for, and Olive still wants more. A shutdown onto Lilia in the background. Lord will be pushing up top for them. Orange Esports will come up in time to defend this, but again, a huge swing in favor of MAB. Unfortunately, once MAB got their head in the game, they realized we have the greater scaling, we have the greater team fight, so as long as we don't allow ourselves to get caught off, we will be fine, and that's exactly what happened.
And I think they should just honestly just sit under that turret and continue to harass. There really is nothing much that Orange Esports can do that can make a difference here, as long as they have the 3 core members stuck together. Nova, Zach QT, as well as X-Slash. Nova can save one of them, and they all have their flickers. At this point of time, Orange Esports have no battle spells and no real way to engage onto their opponents.
Yep, they're now gonna escort the Lord up the top lane. They want to get this inhibitor. Ogi Shadow Kill already doing so much damage. Forces the blast out, but it's not enough as the Kagura
Lilia one shot Kagura, no?
Inhibitor gonna
Kagura one shot Lilia.
Still looking for more. It just dances around Orange Esports right now. Lord gonna start rotating over to the mid inhibitor. Orange Esports will take it out, but they've already lost 1 tower, and maybe now wants to take another.
To be fair, I think MAB could have just like continued pushing with the Lord and won the game off of that. I don't think Orange is in any condition to fight at all, and their main win condition is if Min is able to push somebody out of place, but now here they go. Kobar goes straight in towards Lola's side. He gets locked down as Olive continues to jump back and forth with the quad shadows. Break open every inhibitor possible. MAB still very focused on these objectives, but they have the win in the bag.
Yep, but the rest of Orange Esports has respawned, and now they catch off Zach Cutie. He has to use the flicker. Does actually manage to escape, so Orange aren't able to pick off a cheeky kill there. Though at the very least, they're able to defend their pistol.
Okay, missed opportunity for MAB Esports to end this game, but they've done plenty of damage onto Orange Esports. However, we've seen this many times before. When teams get a significant lead, and especially at the 13th minute mark at this stage of the game where they're 42-36, it always comes down to whether you can end the game off of the next Lord. It's one opportunity, one chance to make it work. Half the time, it's about a 55-45, not even a 60-40. So Orange Esports might be able to come back from this if they hold out long enough.
Yep, as much as an advantage it looks like MAB Esports has right now, a single fight can still turn it around for Orange because they are starting to get some scaling onto Xeno and Isonic. So MAB Esports still needs to be careful. We've already seen what carelessness can cost them here, and if they make a huge mistake at a pivotal moment, they could end up being the ones on the losing side.
Exactly. If MAB were playing a perfect game, they would already be 11K by now, and this game would already be over. But as you can tell,
yo bro, why not playing ML? Look bro, I'm just like doing stream, no? Stream of MPL, no? If I get copyright, I will delete this video. If I will get copyright, no?
Dropping real low, the rest of them still buying time. They do secure the Lord, and now the fight has begun. Lola already getting picked off straight straight away. Min in the split split actually dropping real low as well as the Raging Sandstorm cuts them off. That they do manage to escape. It does not actually manage to land on anyone. So far, only one casualty on the side of Orange Esports, but the Lord falls into the hands of MAB.
Now they wait for the next wave to come on through, and it's going to be Lord
Aha,
walking
okay,
down
keep
with
it
the
up.
Illuminous
Yeah, bro.
Lord as
Yeah, yeah.
well. Orange Esports at this point in time, does Mon have enough damage? It's going to take him a while. He doesn't have the highest DPS in the world, especially when you're up against Lord. As Olive goes into the middle of the fight to waste as many spells as possible, you can just see that X-Slash is just shooting for free in the range. He is just having the time of his life.
Up MAB are now shoving every lane at once. This is so many minions, and Orange Esports has to defend against this. Split used by Mins by times. In the background, getting multiple. Olive jumping in. Raging Sandstorm finds one. Oogie Shadow Kill gets another. Min now the only survivor alongside Zeno, but not for long as they get the triple kill. And the Lord finishes it off. MAB Esports with a 2-0 victory.
Now that's the MAB Esports we want to see. The confidence coming out of Zach QT on that Kagura to go straight in. Hopefully we see more progression from this team. We want to see MAB in a confident position.
That's a long time. It's a lot of hunger they gotta show here. And it's that waiting time while you're in a rut that's gonna hurt the most. Exactly. And that gives you so much time to think about it, the training, the prep. Once it all
Bro,
comes to,
सब्सक्राइबर
if tonight
235 था ना,
doesn't go their way,
220
that's
कैसे
the weight
पहुंच गया?
that's, on
पता नहीं
Brent's
bro.
shoulders collectively.
कल 235
This
था ना,
family
तो
here,
वापस
this squad of young
230 हो
rookies,
गया था,
again,
फिर
backed
221 हो
by,
गया था
players
ना.
like Flap here
पता
on
नहीं कैसे
stream.
हो गया,
And
उल्टा हो
of
गया
course,
ना.
Captain Few. Let's go to the side. Let's talk about Brent Esports' opponent tonight, Blacklist International. They have found this groove. They've found this Dexstar-centric lineup that somehow works better than
ये
what
मैच
they
मजा होगा
originally
लेकिन फिर
announced preseason
ब्रेंड
night
स्पोर्ट और
with
ब्लैकलिस्ट
Desmond.
इंटरनेशनल
What's going on
आजकल
with that one?
ब्लैकलिस्ट
Are we
इंटरनेशनल
still on
बहुत
the
आवरे हो
whole
गया ना.
Floyd Mayweather of MLBB type shtick that they're just
बहुत
defensive and
घटिया
they
हो गया.
punish on the swing?
ब्रेंड स्पोर्ट
it's really hard to
ब्लैकलिस्ट
assess
ना
what
ब्लैकलिस्ट
Blacklist
का
International is right
वॉइस
now.
और
Because we have
ओमे
to go
बिजनेस
back
चला
to
गया
the
ना,
old
इसलिए
Blacklist International,
अच्छा नहीं
where
है.
we
नया
know
जंगलर
them
आए
as
हैं
a
ना.
very dominant defensive team. It's not even defensive, like their best
मेरा
offense
दोस्त
is
सब्स
just
तो अभी भी
extremely high
दिखा
defense
रहा
with
है.
Olivia, but we
हाँ
can't go
ब्रो,
back to
पता
that.
नहीं क्या हुआ है.
The queen is gone for the
किसी
entire
का
season. And
अकाउंट
again, as you said,
खराब हो गया
Dexstar,
होगा.
part of this
ऐसा कुछ हुआ
lineup
होगा.
means that they need to find that identity, and we are
पता नहीं
yet
क्या हो गया
to
ना.
find that. We're
हो
yet to
जाएगा,
see
कुछ
it
नहीं
in
है.
the actual game.
ये ओहेब ना, ओहेब अच्छा है ना. ओहेब M3 का वो है तो MVP है तो ये लड़का. ये केवियर बोलने लगा, ये नया जंगलर है ना, ये जो केवियर बोलने लगा, ये जो ये कहाँ से सक्राई नहीं क्या हो गया इसको. और ये इसका EXP लेना है ना. ये पाइतर खेलने लगा ये.
By the way, the last time Dexstar was on site is
ब्रेंड स्पोर्ट का इतना नहीं जानते. ब्रेंड स्पोर्ट लोग M2 विनर है ना, फिर ये लोग ब्लैक लिस्ट लोग M3 विनर है तो ना, चैंपियन है तो. ब्रेंड स्पोर्ट का वो चला गया ना, इको में चला गया ना, इको ई स्पोर्ट में चला गया ये कार्ल तीजीजा.
Same side, exactly what I was
बोलो जुबा के शरीफान मसाला खा रहा है जंगलर. वही तो ऐसे मतलब वो लोग हिलाते रहते हैं कुछ हिला के कुछ करते रहेगा, पता नहीं क्या करते हैं. मतलब क्या चीज होता होगा पता भी नहीं है. बढ़िया ना लेकिन MPL लोग का, हम लोग का इंडिया में भी ऐसा होने से मजा होगा. ये दोनों अभी हावरे हो गया ना, ये दोनों टीम लोग.
Well, speaking of coming back, the draft
अभी टीम अच्छा लगा बोलने से इको अच्छा है और ओमेगा भी बहुत घटिया है. MSC जीत के ओमेगा स्पोर्ट्स लोग ना.
Your team is there.
Interestingly enough, they're cornering Kevier.
You know, Kevier is quite great on this
Your
one of those
team
assassin
is
picks,
there.
but especially with the Karina right now. Karina's just super strong with the Demon Slayer emblem. You don't want to give it to someone who's really comfortable with that Karina.
ये चश्मा पहनने लगा वो है ना, फाइटर है ना.
coming in from
हावरे सकता ही नहीं.
International. They're trying to corner
ये जंगलर है ना.
heroes here by taking away the Selena, the
प्लेलिस्ट
Joe,
का नया वाला
and even the
जंगलर है.
Makita.
चौथा
and I'm
बच्चा है,
surprised.
14
Brand
years ऐसे है
Esports,
क्या?
actually not that surprised. Karina, Valentina expected that.
ये वो है,
Brand,
ओहे भाई,
you decide not to ban out the
MVP
glue.
है,
No
M3
record
का
for
MVP.
Blacklist International playing the glue just yet. So this might be Blacklist's time to surprise Brand. Like, hey, you didn't ban out the glue. Maybe it's your turn to finally pick up the glue here. So with Karina and Lancelot gone, you're taking away 2 potential first picks right off the bat from Blacklist. Yes, we are at that point where Lancelot and Karina's are worthy first picks. But Blacklist decide to go for the Eve. Yuzong is open for Bren Esports here.
Not just Yuzong, but the Mathilda as well. A lot of great counter picks to put that Eve in a bad situation.
There we go.
And already, the Yuzong is picked up.
I won't be surprised if they decide to pick up their roamer here. You might be able to wait a bit on their mage. Bren Esports haven't been shy with picking the Kagura right away.
Your
but they
team
picked
is
up
picking.
the Beatrix, so they have their side lane heroes now. Marksman gonna go onto the hands of Super Marco back on the playing field here.
I love how they picked up the potential counter and the answer in the Matrix and the Yuzhong. So Blacklist fires back with firepower of their own, and of course, good old reliable. Put it on Edward. He's gonna own one lane, call it dead, isolate it with that Uranus. So far, Blacklist, great first phase draft. I like it.
And the Beatrix is definitely one of the more powerful gold laners
Your
right now.
team is
And
banning.
see, in terms of win rate, I think the Beatrix really does speak for itself at this point. The damage is great coming in from the Wesker, and not just that, the
lady को बांध के
scaling
रखा
from
है ना।
Renner is quite great as well.
ये जी बड़ा जीजू दरवाजा ने बंद नहीं करेगा बोल, इसलिए बांध के रखा है फालतू साला।
Unless they are gonna roam it.
दिन भर दरवाजा बंद करके रखते हैं बोलते हैं।
Trying to say here is Brand Esports, maybe Joyboy is going to be thinking about playing the glue as the position 5. I'm not mistaken, no record yet
Your team is
Joyboy
banning.
for that pick, but it would be a menace to deal with if you are Blacklist International. But Brand still
चौथा मेरे
are
सामने में।
focusing on the jungle. They've taken out 3 jungle heroes. Options already here for Kevier. Will Brand take out something like the YSS as their last ban?
Let's see, because Brand Esports right now, they're really focusing on Kevier, knowing that their rookie is extremely pressured to perform for Blacklist International. And that's just such a Brand Esports thing to do, making sure that their established weak link. This is not me saying that Kevier is the weak link. This is me saying that Brand Esports acknowledges the fact that the rookie might be the weak link. And they've been trying to target him the entire game.
Your team is banning.
Brand Esports will take out the Edith. Set up options for
Your team is picking.
Haji, maybe Dexter are gone. Dexter and Haji, they can still flex on what they can go for. Good ban here, by the way, here for Blacklist, taking out the Kadita. With a lineup that has a strong backline,
इतना रोता है साला।
that's very stationary.
Goal देगा।
The Kadita would have been a menace to deal with. TNC in the past weeks have shown that.
Yeah, in the hands of Escalera, and more recently, Blacklist have been on the receiving end of Kadita in the hands of Yaoi. But let's talk about what's open still and what they need to fill up. Blacklist, they still need a roamer. So does Ren. There's Joy Boy's Ruby, definitely going to go into the roaming slot. Blacklist, I'm thinking, there's room for a Lolita here? Because Dexter needs a hero.
Yeah, that's definitely something that Blacklist International can pick up. A great counter as well for the damage coming in from this Beatrix if Blacklist International decides to get that Lolita. But I do think that another hero that they could potentially use here is the Kufra, just to make sure that if ever the Dragon comes in together with the Ruby, they don't move around quickly with their ability. So the Kufra, I think, is a great pickup. But in terms of comfort, I would say that getting that Lolita is great for Dexstar.
Yep. At the same time, you're gonna be able to. There it is. Great call there, guys. The fact that you'll be able to block some of the things that Matrix can dish out, but that's mainly gonna be it. But you get a lot of control on the side of Blacklist with a Eve and a Lolita combo. Add in there the Ling, who, by the way, again, with the Ruby in the field here, these are brave pickups here by Blacklist International to get that Ling. One well-timed, don't run Wolf King, or I'm Offended Ultimate by Ruby can mess up the tempo of one Ling. For Brand Esports, they just need their mid laner. I'm going to be thinking if Fu is considering the Kagura, his most favorite pick right now in that position. Celine's taken away. Maybe it might even be Lilia, something that they can do to stop the advance of Blacklist International. Just use all the glooms to deter Blacklist from entering when Lolita and the Eve decide to set up with the area of effectabilities.
Yeah, and if Lilia would be picked up, Barca is still open if he wants to take, but he goes for the Kagura, as you said, one of his favorite heroes right now. And I feel like Kagura's stepped up in the meta for some reason. With the nerfs on Eve and Barca, a lot of mid-range mages such as Lilia and the Kagura quite popular right now in the current meta. And Kagura definitely has a better win rate than the Lilia, which I think is around 0 win rate? Or 0-7. Oh my god, like, guys, the Lilia is actually good, but not in the pro scene apparently.
Yeah, no, not in MPL Philippines. I think the reason why is because, again, in the absence of Eve and Farsa, given their nerfs, you now come down to Lilia and Kagura. But between Lilia and Kagura, Lilia is good at eating ults. She's so good at just being a damage sponge. And in that
Vibes,
case,
Mizo.
just pick up the Kagura,
Brand or Blacklist? I don't know, bro.
So
These two are very weak, no? Nowadays.
Best of 3.
These two are very weak team.
At their lineup here.
They did not even win one match, I think.
Between Blacklist, International, and Bren Esports. How are we feeling about that Ling? Because slowly, I mean, based on yesterday's performance, teams have been repairing Ling's win rate.
Well, for the win rate of Ling, it's more about how they approach the playstyle rather than going for the classic Ling that gets pickoffs, translates that to objectives. We can see that definitely with Omega
Bren
that
Squad
used the
best
Ling
squad.
in a way that it's
Lol,
more
bro.
macro
Bren Squad is like
intensive.
so noob, no?
See how
Nowadays.
Xavier does that with a killing spree Ling here, game number 1. Blacks International versus
And that jungler of Black Bren Sport is not here, no? Nowadays. He went to another team. He went to Eco, no? That Carl TG. Carl TG went to Eco. He left Bren Sport, bro.
That purple bomb last just a wee bit longer, forcing out the retribution.
And that was just a very aggressive play coming in for Joy Boy, trying to delay that Ling in his first purple buff. But after that, I feel like the Ling, especially with the purple buff, could definitely rotate around the map faster. So that's the most that Blacklist could do.
Yeah, and if you look at the two junglers, no Demon Slayers. They got killing sprees across the board. So this is going to be a fight. There is a high potential that these two teams are just going to be looking for the pickoffs, the skirmishes, and the full-on team fights to maximize their killing spree emperors.
Yep, another word to use is scrappy. This is going to be a scrappy matchup. But to be fair, the Lings that worked yesterday were rocking Demon Slayer, so we can expect that maybe Caviar here is going to try to take his time. He's going to take a little bit slower and then just farm up, play like the usual Lings of yesterday. But looking at bottom lane, that's Flap getting visited by 2. It's a 2v2 affair right now. Joy Boy getting pulled in. Sticker up on Edward. They know that it's a no-go. Caviar retreats. Going to go back into farming here.
Yep. Great rotations overall for both teams. They know for a fact that some rotations won't result into kills. Just get some lane priority. Set up for the turtle. Upcoming now, and in fact spawned just now. But in the top lane, though, they're still putting in pressure for Oheb.
And it looks like right now, Bren Esports and Blacklist, Kevier and Saxa will prioritize getting their purple buffs first. However, Saxa has started that before, and right now, yeah, it's still pressure on the Super Margo up top.
Ooh, forcing out a flicker. He's back out. They're just going to hit the gold shield here. Forcing out the Tempest of Blades. Renner trying to take down this gold cart. Ooh, Filipino Sniper eats a couple of hits from that turret. It's a disengage, all in efforts to open up this turtle for Saxa. Bren gets a win across the map.
Cross-map play coming in from Bren Esports. They did burn the flicker coming in from Super Marco, but I feel like it's still worth for Bren to get that first turtle of the game, especially in the hands of Saxa. Would give him some kind of mid-game power spike if ever they do decide that bonus shielding.
Yeah, now that the turtle is on
Bro,
the
are you
side
saying
of the
in
map,
1K subscriber
are going to be going for a heavier
do epic?
contention for
Bro,
that next
sure.
turtle.
Yeah, bro.
Lane, it is going to be the Yuzong. It might be difficult for Blacklist International to actually go for that Yuzong, trying to take him down, sort of like what Kevier did up top to help Oheb take down Super Marco. So this next turtle might be a big fight.
Try to take down Super Marco. This is an interesting matchup. Again, it's 3 minutes in. Still no kills. There's a pull onto D Lolita. Dexter falls. And again, this opens up a lot of movement for Bren Esports. Blacklist just wasn't ready to take that fight.
Yep, and great pull coming in from, wait a minute, Few
gets caught by the tail end of the real manipulation. Oheb unable to put the final bullet. What were you saying?
I mean, Bren Esports definitely played that really well.
Oh,
they
no!
went for
Spots one. Pause right after. Interestingly enough, a trade after a delay there, 10 seconds into the analysis. What's going on here? Where did Kevir come from? That was very quick.
Yeah, he came from the bottom lane. His pathing was purple down to orange, and then he swung to the Lord/Turtle Pit in the bottom, and then popped up out of nowhere a kill so bombastic that it even paused the game. But I'm pretty sure that wasn't the cause of it.
Yeah. And definitely with this pause, like the officials are already checking up on what happened. But going back in that play, Kevir definitely caught Few by surprise. Few already survived that with the real world manipulation, burning his flicker even. And since he did die in the mid lane, that makes his flicker burned not that worth it. Maybe that's why we're, I don't know, assessing it further.
Yeah.
But overall, Brand Esports and Blacklist International are quite defensive in this game. Like, honestly, like, it's not that offensive. Like, all of them are just going in for safe kills and then moving out.
This is the complete opposite of what they've been doing in the past weeks, wherein they would just bear down on the XP lane so hard between Saksha and Flap. Saksha and Flap, like 2 or 3 kills straight in the first 5 minutes. And then what? So at least we're seeing Brent try something new. It's something different, but just the same. Let's go back and talk about that kill on Few. I agree with you, man. It's not worth it at all. Flicker burned. He was recalling underneath the turret. Kevir spots him out.
Oh no, Joy Boy.
Clean go. Joy Boy.
What happened?
Joy Boy.
What happened?
Careful.
Something fell out. But
yeah, something fell out.
Yeah, something fell out. Edward here just chilling. So far, I think the laning between Edward and Flap is pretty dead even. If anything, this benefits Edward. I think as the Uranus, you want to try to isolate that Yu Zhong. And I think currently in the meta game today, that's what Uranus does best.
Yeah, definitely. Just buying time, and you're even dealing damage with your abilities with Ionic Edge, I think. And it's something that I think Uranus as a pick
Hi,
delivers
bro.
in the
Street
laning
Bye.
phase. Not only are you able to deal
Welcome to the
constant
stream,
damage
bro.
because of your abilities, but you're also able to not leave lane. As long as you're having your passive up
Such
around
mana.
20 stacks, he doesn't have mana. I mean, he does have mana, but I mean,
as long as you have mana, you're never going home.
Who burns that?
Please like and subscribe,
literally,
guys.
you just have to get like.
You'd be surprised unless you
Please
first
like and
build
subscribe,
Enchanted
guys.
Talisman. You'll find yourself like at a third all the time.
You know, sometimes I think about it. I just spent 360 gold to get 2 crystal thingies, the one that give you mana regen, and then immediately go for my dominance ice. But so it is a strategy that y'all can try if you want.
भाई
I'm
अपना
no
कंटेंट यूज
professional,
करो ना
but it
हाँ
works
ब्रो
because
हम
it
अपना
gives you mana
कंटेंट
in
यूज
the
करता है ना
Let's get back into
लेकिन
this.
भी हम
A fight
वो
was
क्या
breaking
बोलते
out.
हैं
Haji in trouble. Saksha dashing on through his shadow clones, canceling the Numen on blast. Saksha here is in trouble. Nemesis blades up already for Kevin.
हम ऐसे आज के लिए एमपीएल देख के बोल के एमपीएल काला को रखेगा बोल के
Dying there. But there's a trade down bottom. Flap winning against Edward. Joy Boy trying to protect this tier 1 up top. Super Marco comes up. He does have Nibiru. Bombed away. Dexstar goes down. Joy Boy finishes the job. Successful defense for Brenny Sports.
Yeah, it looked like Dexstar there. Just hope that shield, that Guardian Bulwark actually blocked turret hits, but well, that won't happen. It was a great attempt though by Blacklist International because he got to maximize the gold that their team could get from the energy shielding. Across the map, miscalculation. Saksha, the reason why he was taken out there was because he used the Shadow Clone thinking that he'd be able to pick off Haji, but Haji was already way far off in the bottom lane.
ओके स्ट्रीट बाय प्लीज लाइक एंड सब्सक्राइब हम अपना वीडियो डालते हैं ना हम अपना लाइव स्ट्रीम डालते हैं ना ज़्यादातर आज सिर्फ आज के लिए था ना ट्राई आउट करके देखा
Maybe a second too late on pulling the trigger. Sasha secures a turtle. 1 for 1, a turtle for your roamer. Edward gonna be in trouble here. Super Marco flickering on out, dodging the Tempest of Blades. 2v1 there.
Yeah, but still this game is dead even with only Blacklist gaining a 200 gold lead. They're trying to push this by going into Flap.
Yep, Scrappy is as Scrappy goes. Dexstar catches maybe 2 or 3 turret hits. Flap surviving via shot energy. And here comes Saksha. Can they find Oheb? Can they find Dexstar? Flap's gonna check in. Oh, misses the Filipino sniper. They will bear down. Try to take down this tier 1 up top. Kevir's been down here in bottom lane for quite a while. Bursting down! Kevir's really low.
And even
He's
stole
gonna
it
get
away.
some revenge. Switches it up. Few, was that more than enough for his revenge?
I think he almost killing out Kevier and also stealing away a small objective from Brand Esports. Showing up right now, but Blacklist International, they're just behind by 400 gold. In fact, this is like the third, fourth lead change in this game. For both teams.
Yeah, both teams are now going to look to find a pick-off before this turtle spawns. Flap is really going to be waiting for the usage of his Black Dragon form because he knows how important it is in a team fight. Not only to interrupt the real-world manipulation, since it is the most obvious thing you'd want to stop as a Yuzong, but to stop the ultimate, the ultimate of the Lolita. If you can stop that, that's two great zoning, aerial effect, crowd control abilities that you are gonna be taking away from Blacklist.
Yep, and those are the only zoning abilities that Blacklist has.
Oh no, that star caught out here, already using the Oogie Shadow Kill. Real revelation, the answer by Haji. That's a lot of damage into the back line. Kagura and Beatrix already out. Joy Boy retreating. No fire back from Brand Esports.
Wow, Brand Esports almost went in to win that fight, but Blacklist International goes in with a counter punch. They punish that aggression coming in from Brand Esports, and this is something that we've seen for the past few weeks as well. And maybe this is the identity that has been slowly building up for Blacklist International. Going into week 3, it might come into the fruition of all their practices.
Shots is here though, he could still steal this away from Blacklist.
Oh yeah, not just him, Few as well. There's a pull on the Dexstar. Black Dragon 4 by Flap. Shadow Kill already used up. Haji, Cyclone Eye out of range. Dexstar taking out Pop like a cherry. And that's gonna be Kevier dashing on through. Boy, keeping Ohem and Haji down. Tempest Blaze, the Dragon goes up in the air. The Filipino Sniper gets a kill. And there's a manipulation. Few traded out. That's a lot of bodies dropping for Brand Esports with only the turtle to their name.
The turtle with a lot of deaths. I'm not sure if that's worth it. That makes that trade even. They could have just gone for the objective, but I think great aggression coming in from Flap, almost resulting to a kill, but Haji got the flicker and immediately turned that around.
Brand Esports though should be happy with at least that they got the turtle out of that. Because of the kills of Blacklist International were able to get there, it's still not a massive lead for Brand. 1K at this point of the game is not so bad. Oeb already has the Endless Battle and the Berserker's Fury. Meanwhile, for Super Marco, he already has that Malefic Roar and the Blade of Despair. So the marksmen, they're set. They have their items for this mid-game power fight, and these two teams are just going to look to protect their back line. But right now, because of that Yuzong again, the access to the back line that Brand Esports has, Blacklist is going to have a way tougher time of protecting Oheb than Brand Esports will have the job of protecting Super Marco.
Yeah, but to be fair, a lot of Brand's wins are coming off of the back of Joy Boy's pulls, and it starts with taking down Dexstar. So Super Marco, he's slowly feeling it. He's slowly going online, but as I say that, Edward just picked up his Antikiras. So it's gonna be so much harder for Super Marco to do his thing.
That's super important. Antikiras really stops a lot of the physical damage coming in from Brand Esports. And I just have to say that Joy Boy is not shy into going into tanks. They know that their damage is more than enough to take down anyone inside of Blacklist International. So that means that they're not going to hesitate. If they find someone alone, they might just throw all of their abilities. But we have seen teams literally falling to other teams because of that strategy. So it's a 50-50 still for Brand Esports.
By the way, that Beatrix has been a monster of a pick so far this season. 70% win rate, 14 out of 20 games. Seeing why this pick is so important.
Joy Boy, conceal. A little... Maybe a second too late, and there was a bit of hesitation.
It's like that meme where you stop digging and there are like diamonds in front of you. Almost resulted for a Brand Esports victory.
Well, better safe than sorry. I think this 1,000 gold lead, if we can even call it that, on Brand isn't enough for them to force these kinds of plays. So, yeah, it's going to be a 10-minute Lord attempted by Super Marco and Flap. Maybe they're just pulling Blacklist in. They know that Kevier is very far off. It's a 4v5 situation. Lord here at half health. Edward can clearly see the picture. He knows what's up. Kevier already here as well. Fight's gonna break out. Dexstar gets a stun. Black Dragon form by Flap. There's the Lord take by Saksha. Real world manipulation pushing them on out. Few taken out by the Filipino sniper.
Oh no, two of them might fall.
Flap is gonna go down. Kevier gets a kill. Super Marco, Sasha, Joy Boy, the only ones left. They're on damage control. No turrets are going to fall, at least not in mid. Top lane going to be taken here by Blacklist International. Was that worth it? 2 deaths, a turret up top for the Lord.
Man, that trade was very much even, I think. But the Lord is still up for Brand Esports. They could potentially get more out of that trade. Blacklist International holding an insignificant gold lead here of 43. Doesn't mean anything. They just have to cash in on this Lord.
Only shadow kill, not going to be able to defend, forcing out a Tempest of Blades from Kevier. Lord still alive, down bottom. And I did notice something that Super Marco does that no other Beatrix player, I think, in Season 9 has done too. He's playing more Bennett. I don't know. I'm noticing that he's playing more Bennett than usual.
Yeah, yeah. And that's very rare, because usually we don't see that much. The Joy Boy!
There's the pull-in! He gets 3! Nibiru's passion! The answer back, real manipulation. Haji cancels it in the face of the Black Dragon form. Kevier coming in, wants to take out Few. False engage. Not gonna happen.
Run.
Wait.
Flap is in
Edward
danger.
makes the call. He says, let's do this. There's the answer back by Sasha.
Oh no,
Dexter taken out. Oogie shadow kill. The dragon falls. Edward gets 1. Double kill. Haji, his first death this game. Sasha gets a double.
Brand Esports, they weren't able to cash in on that Lord push down bottom lane, but they were able to secure some kills and the mid lane outer turrets because of the aggression coming in from Blacklist International. And right now, every time another team just throws a punch, there's always a counter punch back. So both teams really know how to punish.
A moment, he missed the shurikens.
That's the second time.
The kunais were just like right. It hit the hair of Kevier.
And it wasn't enough to stop.
Yeah. Oh man, so close. I wonder if Saxon knew just how well. Yeah, when he walked in that bush, he saw the moment Kevier was still there. So probably he was thinking, "Oh man."
Sasha watching the replay later.
Yeah.
Oh man. No. And that's a slow-mo no coming in from Leo.
Yeah.
That was Remar.
That was you. Okay, fine. It was me. It was me. I guess it's 2v1 right now. By the way, look at Oheb's stat line, 5-0 and 3. He's doing a good job of really staying alive in the team fight. And maybe that's one of the reasons why Brand Esports keeps getting fights countered on them.
Gets spotted by Haji there. Cancels the concealed play. Can they steal the purple? This is going to be devastating to Kevier. If they do, Kevier takes it. Not in my base.
Yeah, we've seen Lings starved, especially yesterday, but that Ling still won. Well, Blacklist International, they don't want to see Kevier starved out of that purple. They know for a fact on how important that purple buff is for Blacklist International. And now the Lord, Brand Esports, have proper control over this area. They have great vision over the bushes, and they're starting it right now.
Luminous Lord started up here. Dexter, the only one who has eyes on this shenanigans by Bren. They take it still. Luminous Blast already used up. Flap using the Black Dragon form. Throwing up the emote on the way out. You're welcome, Blacklist. Bren gets a second Lord.
But it looks like Blacklist International is looking to take a turret instead. And they might even just clear out his Lord quite quickly because everybody else went back home.
Yeah.
And the fight might break out. Joy Boy in the backside.
Look at who he catches. It's another tank. Not a very fruitful engage. Mind you, there are ults on the side of Blacklist. It's not a fight Bren should be forcing, especially since there's no Black Dragon form on Flap. Oh, Lord's still standing though.
Yeah. Bren were forced back into the action right away.
Wait, Crystal and the stun on Dexter.
Lord spawned right away.
Team turret has been destroyed.
He still got something.
Yeah. That looks so funny. It looked like the Lord headbutted the tower and that took him out.
Yeah, it really does look like it, but there is another wave of Mega Minions. Oh no, the conceal expired, man.
Oh man.
Expired like spoiled
Let's
milk.
see. Kevier, he can see that his purple is in jeopardy. Real Revelation forced out of Haji. Huge wave in mid. They are going to be able to defend.
Blue team turret has been
it still
destroyed.
goes.
Kev got it.
Wow. Okay.
That was so close.
They got the purple. Turret down as well. Brenny Sports over the past minute, as small as a victory as those things are, I think they are slowly getting control.
Yeah, 15 minutes in, a small amount of control going to the hands of Brent Esports. Our first 1K gold lead of the game.
Confirmed.
15 minutes in, confirmed. This is such a close game between two former world champions.
Yeah, no, and to be fair, we did say, game started. It's going to be scrappy. We're at a kill per minute about right now.
Yeah, scrappy game. And in that purple attempt by Bren, it looked like they were being cautious. they're sensing this might be their first game win, so they're really being careful about it.
A pull on the Dexter! He gets smashed into the ground by Saksha. Flap with a Black Dragon form. Kevier trying to chase down Super Marco. Oh, he answers back with a blast, but he's gonna get taken down here by Edward. 1 for 1. Dexter for Super Marco. That's a win for Blacklist if you're counting trades.
Definitely a win for Blacklist there. Super Marco going down means a lot of their damage, especially burst and range damage is out. Blacklist International, they have the chance to go in for the siege here, but Saksha, might be in trouble.
The Filipino sniper gets caught in. Edward in the back line trying to cut
Red team turret has
in
been
to
destroyed.
get this tier 2 push. Blacklist answering back, shrinking that 1K goal lead to about 300 again.
Back and forth. Such a closely contested game by these two teams, and this next Lord is looking like it's going to be a big fight. Edward still applying the pressure down bottom. Brent Esports has to clear that first. So Blacklist may get advantage in the Lord area before Brent Esports can get into position, because there's a minion wave up top that Brent Esports also has to look at here. You're going to have to watch out for OHEB positioning. You're going to have to watch out for the Dragon as Blacklist started the Lord.
Yep. HB. This is difficult. Dexter here in the pixel brush. He catches one, stun, flap. Are they going to force a Black Dragon form? Answer is no. Lord gets reset here. There's a push down bottom. Inhibitor taken down. Saksha is very far away. They're going to continue taking it down. Kevier and OHEB dealing so much damage. Mind you, Haji has a real manipulation. He drops it. Black Dragon form here. Kevier gets it, canceling the ult on the Eve. Saksha a little too late to the party. They have to concede this major objective.
The push earlier coming in from Blacklist International, the Mega Minions down bot lane secured that Lord for them. Brent Esports had to commit one member to defend that lane, and it had to be Saksha, their only retribution that could steal away the Blacklist International Lord that they're enjoying right now. If they get a big team fight here in mid lane while the Lord pushes down bottom lane, it might just be a GG push for Blacklist International.
Yeah, Brent Esports might lose all of their inhibitor turrets here. Two left standing, the Lord marching down bottom, and it's Luminous. It's going to be a tough defense for Brent, but so far they're handling it like champs. But Blacklist are relentless right now, still knocking on the door of Brent Esports.
Blacklist International definitely trying to rise to the top here, and Brent Esports fighting for their lives. Here comes the final push.
Lord still inside the base. Black Dragon form here by Flap, trying to push out these invaders. It's still gonna fall. Half Dragon form right now. Saksha up top clearing that wave, trying to save that last inhibitor that they have. Tempest of Blades knocking up. Pew purifies that knockup. And Kevier looking low. Numinum Blast, nobody home. Joy Boy still alive. Saksha at half health. They already used up all their ults. A perfect defense by Brent, no one falling, but the damage has been done.
Man, that looked like a commercial for what MLBB team fights could be. Nobody dying, everybody throwing out the ultimates. It's like a total graphics show for both teams, but two inhibitors do fall down for the side of Brent Esports, which means Blacklist International will have priority over that lower area of the map, but the Lord is near that top lane.
Yeah, and that bottom part of the map, that bottom lane is the biggest problem for Brent Esports right now, because of the fact that there is a Uranus on the side of Blacklist, and most importantly, that Ling, who could just potentially split push and end the game by himself if Brent Esports aren't careful. Brent will have to think twice and have to think about so many things for the Lord. We saw it in that Lord attempt earlier, that first Luminous Lord of the game, or the second Luminous Lord of the game, the one we saw just earlier. You guys know what I mean. But yeah, Brent Esports now,
ये मैच के बाद हटा देगा बोल तो रहे हैं.
You're just waiting to the bottom lane.
Things are about to be intense here. We have seen this game quite even for majority of it. Right now, Blacklist International starting to grow that gold lead to almost 3,000. Kevier enjoying purple buff after purple buff. This is just great for the Ling. And Brent Esports forced to be on the defensive side, even if they have tools to go aggressive.
It's a difficult game for Super Marco specifically, despite his placement as number 3 in damage dealers in this game. It's just not easy. I mean, if you think Haji's having a hard time, imagine how Super Marco can't even get Renner shots or even Wesker shots.
Way too difficult. That Lolita is acting like it's a really great deterrent against his Beatrix, and of course the placement of Haji with his real-world manipulations. Which is why, if you see the damage taken, it's Edward and Flap at the top of the charts. They're really the stars for their team right now because of what they can do and what they can dish out across the map. And during team fights, more importantly, it's stopping or countering or reacting to what the other team can dish out.
Yep, and Lord is trying to get is actually reset here, and they're still waiting for a big fight to break out here. Super Marco and Edward. Edward actually is just zoning out 3 to 4 members single-handedly, but will they able to take this Lord? Can they even?
Yeah, Blacklist might full commit here because they see Saksa in the bottom lane, having to clear that bottom lane.
Yep, this is the same story as the last Lord. Is this a concealed play by Joyboy? What are they thinking? Trying to find a good position? Not gonna be one engaged. Neither team wants. So Saksha's back in the equation here.
And Saksha in this fight changes a lot of things for Brand Esports, because now they have the retribution to try and steal this away if Blacklist International starts it up quite early. But the fact that they have Mega Minions down mid lane and bottom lane means they could just wait it out until Saksha goes back, and Saksha did go back.
That's the biggest problem. Again, not just like, as you mentioned, it's not just the bottom lane, it's those 2 lanes without turrets. The Lord's at half health. Brand Esports know it's way too risky because Kevier can just quickly go down bottom lane and end the game by himself. Brand Esports, they're stuck right now. They're trying to find an opening, but Blacklist is not giving it. This is World Championship winning defensive formation now for Blacklist.
Oh no. Minions. Check this out. Blacklist is also a little too deep. This is the deepest they've gone in this past 2 minutes. Flap with the Black Dragon form. Real room inflation timed out already. Dexter looking low. He's still alive. Bulwark on out of here. Few. Just use a little bit of time here to buy some time and clear out those waves. They reset. Blacklist back on Lord taking duties. A huge wave crashing down, but it's okay. It's still under control. Flap does not have an ult. He does have a Petrify. Let's see where this goes. Edward pushing him on out of here. Lord at maybe a third of its health.
Saksa's there.
Real Revelation. It's already up and down. Joyboy coming in with the counter pull. And there's an Ibiru's fashion by Super Marco. Kevier's looking low. Tempest Ablaze forced out of him. Lord still at a third. Pop the immortality. Joyboy looking low here. Pop his immortality. Shadow kill by Super.
Oh my goodness.
By Saksha. Super Marco's still here. He's still firing. Bulwark on up. They push Blacklist out of the Lord contestation. And this is the first big win for Bren.
Yeah, great positioning coming in from Super Marco, but Kevier strikes back. Joyboy forced to flicker out. And now, Blacklist International takes back the control that Bren Esports got.
It's non-stop. Now Bren Esports is on their way back. Who's gonna get it?
Let's see. It's hot potato for the Lord. I bet he's super confused. Real Revelation here by Haji.
Gonna get it.
Lord is still up. Kevier gets it. Saksha just bites that far off shadow and he says, not worth it anymore, let's back out of here.
That fight for the Lord is essentially a fight for who gets the territory around it. They've been fighting for that for a whole 3 minutes, and Bren Esports definitely got the first half. The Blacklist International figured out that, hey, why are we giving out this area? We could just go back, force the flicker out of Joyboy, and Kevier found that for Blacklist International, and things are looking quite well for Blacklist 24 minutes in. They have the Lord marching down mid lane, and they could potentially and finally try to push down Bren Esports in game number 1.
It's gonna be a massive win if Bren Esports gets to defend this, because right now it's looking like Blacklist could end it right here. It was a good decision by Bren Esports to target that bottom minion wave, because it delays the number of minions they have to deal with. But oh no!
Fuel gets bursted down. The Filipino sniper gets one. Top lane gonna crash. Lord swinging away at the base. Bren Esports right now in damage control mode.
Marco.
Red alert, red alert. The base is about to go down. Numenor Blast stunning one. Saksha falls. Joyboy the only one left. Bren Esports falls in game number 1. Blacklist ahead 1-0.
Blacklist International with great plays around the map.
Okay,
finally
bro. Talian, bro.
ending the equalized game that we